what to do when you know you're not comfortable in your 9 to 5 and you don't want to be there no more. I think a lot of people can relate to this topic. I think a lot of people face and deal with this to where they're probably in a job that they don't like or doing something they don't want to do. And I don't know, I think there's some people that are naturally blessed with the fact that they are aligned according to their passions. But other people, man, you gotta grind to get there. You gotta figure it out. You gotta keep working. You gotta walk along the path that God's gonna create. You know what I'm saying? The doors he's gonna open. So I say that to say that a lot of people are struggling in a 9 to 5 or a job that it's lackluster. There's no passion, they don't care about it. They want to move on to bigger and better things, and then, you know, they're not able to according to their own control, will, or timing. Feeling like this naturally brought me closer to God. Not to say I didn't want to be close to God, but what I would say is that finding meaning and purpose in my life and what I'm doing in career, because these things just don't satisfy me. I know everybody has to work. Everybody got to pay bills. You can't be out here thinking that you can just, you know, skate by. Somebody gonna take care of you, especially if you're a man out here. You got to get it. You got to be a provider, right? So with that being, hearing all stuff behind me and it's these leaves, I'm like, so with that being said, man, that naturally brought me closer to God in trying to understand what he would have me do or what he would want me to do. So I appreciate that, because a lot of people, man, they're just thrown into the world, or the reality of their lives is that they don't have time to process, retrospect, be introspective. They just go with the flow. They just go with the flow, always in relationships, always hanging out with friends, always being outside. They just don't know how to sit still and be quiet and reflect and understand themselves. Better yet, understand passion and purpose. So that's a big thing for me, man. Purpose. What's the purpose? What's the reasoning? Does this mean anything? This can't be it. So I started approaching God more so in that type of prayer perspective. Like, what do you have for me? Why am I here? Why is this and that? Now, I always emphasize that everything you go through is a part of your journey. It's a part of your story. So asking why, I don't really do that anymore. But early on in my prayer conversations with God, I was always asking why. But I don't do that no more. I don't ask why, because I have an understanding that everything I face is a part of his plan for my life. So you got to believe that, man. God don't make mistakes, especially when you love him, believe in him. He's not going to make a mistake. He's always going to cater to you and treat you like his child, whether you want to see it or believe it. But with that being said, he ain't going to leave you hanging. So I started just understanding that his ways are bigger, greater, grander. So the question why don't make sense. But the understanding and knowing that your story is already written, and that, you know, you have a purpose and a plan, especially when you have a spiritual walk, right? God always has a purpose for you. So nothing can go wrong in that sense, you know. All things work for those who love him. So it's the magnitude of understanding in that is so grand that you can't even really grasp it. So just keep moving forward. But I would continue asking questions along the lines of, what do you have for me? What would you want me to do today? How can you work through me or use me? These are all things you can relate to the Lord, and you know, he'll guide and direct your steps. And it's interesting, man. All day today, let me say this, all day today, bro, I was thinking about what kind of content to make. You know what I mean? In terms of like, what should I record today? What topic? What subject matter? And I couldn't come up with anything. There's a few times where I pressed record on my phone and nothing happened. Nothing flew, nothing came out. But here we are. You know what I'm saying? We're 4 minutes in. But it's funny how when I talk about my relationship with God and my experiences and spirituality and faith, those things flow. But when I'm trying to, you know, talk about a subject matter that's just very generic, that don't flow for me that much. So I don't know, maybe it's just a time and place, and maybe this message was meant to be shared at this point in time. So that's probably why I had conviction. That's why it's probably coming out the way it is and so seamless. So yeah, don't try to figure it out on your own. Don't feel like you just lost out here and stuck in your job and there's no way out. There's a point in time where I was very young and I've always had this feeling like a 9-to-5 setting is not meant for me. I always understood that God was calling me to more and that I need to start thinking that way. So I would always quit my jobs early on, bro. Like I'm talking about 17, 18, I worked for a week or two and I quit. And you know, some days my mom would get off work, find me at the house and be like, what are you doing here? Of course I'm gonna make something up. I didn't like that job and it was a bad job. And she just like, nah, bro, you just lazy. You know what I'm saying? But I think I had an understanding all the time that these things weren't for me. But the biggest problem I had was running away from these things. Like I couldn't face them. Quitting ain't the solution. Running away and just throwing in the towel ain't the solution. Because there could be skills and an understanding as to the reasoning why you're being taken through the season. So it could be molding you, and I guarantee you it's molding you according to God's plan. You're there for a reason. You're there to learn, understand something, or you're there to touch somebody. You're there to affect somebody in a certain light. You know, pray for them. Give them a few encouraging words. Who knows what it could be? Don't flip out, freak out, jump the ship too early. Because I used to do that all the time. And I think there are certain qualities he was trying to build up in me. And instead of just quitting things, because even if you feel like you're not aligned with something, don't quit prematurely. I would say always go back to God and get an understanding. Now, there's people whose testimony is where there's certain points in times where God will require of you to leave a place, to move on, to quit something. He has something else for you. He's opened a door, he's closed one and opened another. And I do believe that's true as well. But you have to have discernment and wisdom to understand versus just running away or tricking yourself out of your own spot. Because that'll happen a lot. Maybe something was going to occur or happen. Something was there for you. You got too afraid and you ran away before things came to fruition. Now, what if God had a huge blessing for you, but you just ran away because you couldn't face the music right now? Dang, as I'm even mentioning these things right now, there's a certain reflection that I'm thinking about things I'm dealing with and going through in my life right now. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all, every time I make these videos, it's like I'm talking to myself. It's like I'm talking to myself. But comment down below y'all's thoughts, man. If you're going through a hard time in a 9-to-5 or corporate setting, you know you're meant for more, you're longing for more, don't quit prematurely. Always talk to God and ask him, what do you have for me here? How can I be of service? How do you want to use me, Lord? And then also pray over your passions and what you want to do. Dear Lord, I want to be X, Y, and Z, Lord. I know that you've given me gifts and skills in according to fulfill this plan. So I just pray that, you can bless me according to your will and purpose. You know, the things you ask for, typically there's an alignment according to God's plan or purpose for your life. Like he doesn't put passions and gifts within you for no reason. So it may not look exactly how you want it to look. That's why I'll pray according to the will, right? Because there could be a piece of your prayer or a piece of what you want that aligns perfectly with God's will. That's why you always got to pray according to his will, not just what you want. Because who knows better? The man upstairs. So comment down below, man. If it's hard, if it's tough, if you're struggling, maintain. Just maintain and keep praying about it. But if you have that understanding and knowing that God is asking you to leave a place, then so be it. You know what I mean? So comment down below. Peace, love, prosperity. God bless. We'll see y'all next time.